Many people voice their reality into being without realizing it. Each morning they rise and say things such as, "I am exhausted. I have no money. I am unlucky in romance," as if they're merely reporting facts. But here is the truth. They are not reporting, they are programming. Within the quantum field, words are not harmless vibrations. They act as frequency commands carrying intention and identity. Of all phrases you might speak, none is more potent than the two words "I am." Why? Everything that follows "I am" becomes a declaration of self. And in the language of the universe, self and reality are indistinguishable. The field does not respond to what you desire. It responds to what you are being. This is why spiritual teachers across millennia, from ancient mystics to modern quantum thinkers, have pointed to "I am" as the key to creation. In the Bible, when Moses asked the divine its name, the answer was simple: "I am that I am." That was not poetry. It was a revelation about the fabric of existence. It reminded that the essence of creation is self-definition. In quantum physics, this aligns with the observer effect. What you identify as, you collapse into form. Every repeated thought, every self-description you voice, observes you. And that observation can alter your reality at a subatomic level. But here lies the trap. Most people use "I am" unconsciously and against themselves. They attach it to temporary states as if permanent identities. "I am tired" becomes "I am a tired person." "I am bad with money" becomes "I am someone who never has enough." And without realizing it, they lock themselves into those frequencies like tuning a radio to static and wondering why the music never changes. This is not the universe punishing them. It is because the universe is obedient. The quantum field is an infinite mirror. It reflects back whatever vibration you project. So here is a shift. When you say "I am," you hold the pen writing your reality. But that pen's power is neutral. You can write limitations or possibilities. You can write fear or love. You can write struggle or flow. The universe does not edit your script. It simply stages the play exactly as you wrote it. Tragically, most people are conditioned to write tragedies. They were told humility means speaking small, realism means expecting less, truth means declaring only what you can see. But in quantum creation, that is backwards. You don't speak only what you see. You speak what you choose to see. You don't confirm circumstances, you confirm essence. This is where the God state idea enters. The God state is not about ego or superiority. It is about alignment. It is a state where inner identity is so coherent, so aligned with desired reality that no gap exists between "I am" and what you experience in the physical world. In neuroscience, this is called self-directed neuroplasticity. Your brain rewires to match the identity you consistently embody. In quantum mechanics, it's resonance. Your field matches the frequency of a reality. And by energy's law, that reality must match you back. This is not about begging the universe. It's about embodying the blessing until the universe cannot tell the difference. Imagine this like tuning forks. If you strike a tuning fork tuned to the note A, and there's another A nearby, the second fork will start to vibrate automatically. No pushing, no convincing, no effort, just resonance. The God state works exactly the same way. When you vibrate as the version of you who already has the health, the wealth, the love, the peace you desire, those realities start vibrating back in harmony with you. You're not trying to pull them in. They are drawn to you by the laws of the field. And here is the most important thing. Stepping into the God state begins the moment you stop using "I am" to describe your past and start using it to declare your chosen future as if it's already here. You stop saying "I am trying to heal," and you start saying "I am healed." You stop saying "I am working toward abundance," and you start saying "I am abundant now." At first your mind will argue. It will tell you this is lying. But in quantum creation you are not lying. You are leading. You are leading your field, your body, your mind into coherence with a higher frequency. And once coherence is established, reality has to follow. Stay with me, because what comes next will take this out of the realm of philosophy and into something you can activate in your daily life. Not someday, not after years of struggle, but starting the moment you finish hearing these words. That's when "I am" stops being just a statement and starts being the key that opens every door you thought was locked. Many people think changing their life starts with changing their actions. They try new routines, new strategies. But if the identity behind those actions stays the same, nothing truly changes. In quantum manifestation, the identity, your I am, is the frequency transmitter. It's like the motherboard of your reality. Every action, thought, and feeling is just a program running on that board. If you don't change the motherboard, all the programs run the same way no matter how many you install. This is why saying I am with intentionality is so powerful, because it rewrites the motherboard. Neuroscience calls this identity-based habit change. Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches that when you consistently think and feel from a future identity, your brain begins to form new neural pathways as if that future is happening now. Bruce Lipton, in his work on epigenetics, explains that your beliefs, your internal I am statements, directly influence the biochemistry of your body, turning genes on or off. And in quantum mechanics, David Bowe's concept of the implicate order mirrors this perfectly. The unseen blueprint, your identity, determines the reality, your life. But here is where it gets tricky. The subconscious is stubborn. If for years you've been telling yourself, I am unlucky, I am not enough, or I am always struggling, those programs run automatically, often without you even noticing. These phrases become like background noise in your vibration, constantly sending a signal into the field that says, this is who I am, send me proof, and the field obeys. This is why the first step to shifting into the God state isn't just saying new I am statements. It's catching and interrupting the old ones. Here's an example. Imagine someone who has been repeating I am bad with money for years. Even if they try to affirm I am wealthy every morning, the dominant subconscious program will keep overriding it. The quantum field reads the dominant frequency, not the one-off bursts of inspiration. So, the work here is twofold. Reduce the power of the old identity and consistently embody the new one until it becomes the default. One of the simplest yet most overlooked and ways to do this is through conscious interruption. The next time you catch yourself saying I am tired or I am broke, pause. Don't try to force a fake positive. Instead, shift into a state that feels neutral but aligned, like I am restoring my energy or I am learning to manage money with ease. This small shift matters because it interrupts the old vibration without triggering resistance from your mind. Over time, you can elevate those statements into the full God state. I am vibrant. I am wealthy now. I am a magnet for abundance. And here is the science behind why this works so quickly. Every time you choose a new I am, you're collapsing a different version of reality in the quantum field. In the famous double-slit experiment, particles acted differently when observed, not because the observer physically interfered, but because their perception influenced the outcome. Your self-perception works the same way. The moment you observe your one who already is what you desire, the particle of your reality begins to shift accordingly. When you enter the God state, you stop chasing external proof before you change your internal story. You realize that proof is the last thing to arrive, not the first. And this flips the whole manifestation process on its head. Instead of waiting for life to give you permission to say, I am loved, I am abundant, I am powerful, you grant yourself that permission and the field responds to your authority. What's more exciting is that the God state is self-reinforcing. Once you start living from it, your external results begin to reflect your new identity. And when they do, your faith in the process deepens, which amplifies the signal you're sending out, which brings in more aligned results. It becomes a feedback loop of alignment. In a moment, we'll go even deeper into the mechanics of how to stabilize this frequency, so it doesn't just flicker for a few minutes during meditation, but becomes the baseline of your, because the real magic of I am is not in saying it once with intensity, but in being it so consistently that the quantum field stops seeing it as a request and starts seeing it as a fact. When you step into the God state, something extraordinary happens at both a spiritual and scientific level. Your baseline frequency changes. In quantum physics, everything is vibration from subatomic particles to galaxies. Nikola Tesla famously said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of vibration. Your I am statements are not just words, they are frequency codes. Every time you declare I am, you're tuning your internal oscillator, your consciousness, to a specific signal. The quantum field is like an infinite radio dial containing every possible reality, and your I am acts as the tuner. This isn't just metaphysics. HeartMath Institute's research shows that the electromagnetic field of the heart is thousands of times more powerful than the brain's electrical output. When you fill your I am statement with genuine coherence, meaning your thoughts and feelings match, your heart and brain synchronize, creating a coherent field around you. In this state, you're no longer broadcasting mixed signals. Instead, your entire being becomes a single clear transmission that the quantum field can lock onto. Spiritually, ancient teachings have been pointing to this truth for millennia. In the Bible, God's self-declaration, I am that I am, Exodus 3:14, isn't just a statement of existence. It's a revelation of the creative power of identity. Mystics from many traditions have echoed this, teaching that creation begins not with action, but with the recognition of one's divine nature. In Vedantic philosophy, the statement Aim Brahasmi means I am the Absolute, a direct pointer to the same God-8 consciousness. The challenge is that most people try to manifest from a conditional state. They say I am happy, but internally think once I get the job, or they say I am loved, but feel lonely in their body. This creates what quantum physicist Amit Gawami would call a collapsed wave of incoherence, a state where your internal reality and your desired external reality are out of phase. In this mismatch, the field doesn't have a stable frequency to mirror back to you, so results remain inconsistent. To correct this, you need to train your nervous system to feel safe in the new identity before the external proof arrives. Bruce Lipton explains that the subconscious mind runs 95% of your daily behaviors and is heavily influenced by emotional memory. If your body has spent years feeling unsafe with abundance, love, or success, it will subconsciously sabotage attempts to embody that reality unless you recondition it. This is why embodiment practices like breath work, meditation, and somatic awareness are so crucial. They bridge the gap between the mind's intention and the body's memory. Here's a practical example. Let's say your I am is I am abundant. If your nervous system associates abundance, fear perhaps from growing up in scarcity or experiencing financial loss, you might unconsciously resist opportunities that could expand your wealth. But when you pair the mental affirmation with regulated breathing, visualizing abundance while your heart rate is calm, you create new associations. Over time, your body begins to accept abundance as safe. At that point, the affirmation stops being just words. It becomes your energetic truth. And here's where the quantum leap happens. Once your thoughts, and physical state all match the frequency of your I am, you enter resonance with the version of reality where that identity is already true. The double-slit experiment in quantum physics shows that observation collapses a wave of possibilities into one outcome. But what most people miss is that your self-observation, the way you witness yourself, has the same effect. When you see yourself as the one who already is, you collapse into that reality faster. The God state doesn't work because you've tricked the universe. It works because you've aligned with the version of yourself that the universe already recognizes as complete. You've removed all internal static, leaving only the pure tone of your chosen identity. In the next section, we're going to explore how to take this beyond personal manifestation into co-creation with the field itself. So, you're not just tuning into a reality, but actively sculpting it alongside the intelligence of the universe. Because the God state isn't the end of the journey, it's the doorway. Now that you understand the power behind I am and the science that makes it real, it's time to put it into action, but not as a one-off affirmation or a morning ritual you forget by lunchtime. This is about living from your God state moment by moment. And to do that, you need to bring your conscious identity into every micro-interaction of your day. Imagine you walk into a room and think, I am invisible. That thought instantly shifts your posture, tone of voice, presence, and others will treat you accordingly. But if you walk in as I am magnetic, your energy expands before you even speak, and the field responds in kind. This is why embodiment is not optional, it's the activation switch. There's a 3-step loop I use to keep myself anchored in the God state. Step 1, pause before you act or react. This gives your consciousness the space to choose an I am that aligns with the reality you want to experience. Step 2. Feel it fully in your body. Don't just think I am abundant. Let your shoulders drop. Breathe as if the abundance is already here. And notice how that changes your nervous system. Step 3. Move from that identity. Send the email, make the call, walk into the meeting as if your I am is already the established truth. Here's what's fascinating. The more consistently you do this, the more the external world seems to fall in line with your inner state. This is not magic. It's resonance. In physics, when two frequencies are in harmony each other, the quantum field mirrors you and it doesn't argue with you. So when you say I am, the only question is, are you broadcasting the version of you that holds the reality you want, or the one that's still waiting? And here is where I want you to engage with me, because speaking your I am out loud or in writing has a magnifying effect. The moment you declare it, you shift from thinking to transmitting. So, I want you to type in the comments right now with certainty and full embodiment. I am in my God state. When you write this, you're not just engaging with the video. You're sending a quantum signal into the field. You're anchoring this identity in a way your subconscious can't ignore. Thousands of people could watch this and keep it in their heads, but the ones who speak it into form, they're the ones who will feel the shift the fastest. If you've been watching so far, you've likely already had glimpses of your God state, those moments where you felt deeply certain, even if just for a second. In the next section, we're going to amplify that. Because once you stabilize this frequency, the question is no longer if your manifestation will happen, it's how much your life will transform as a natural byproduct of who you've become. Here's the thing about the God state. It's not fragile. It's not something you have to protect like a flickering candle. When you truly step into I am, you become the flame itself, unshaken by the wind. But the moment you start chasing proof that it's working, you step out of it. That's because the God state doesn't operate on the level of I'll believe it when I see it. It lives entirely in the realm of I see it, because I believe it. And the universe operating through the quantum field is compelled to mirror that back to you. Think about it. In quantum mechanics, an electron doesn't need to be pushed into its new state. It simply shifts when its probability wave collapses through observation. You are the observer of your own life, and every I am is an act of oh. If you keep observing yourself as lacking, struggling, or waiting, the field will keep serving you that same state over and over. But if you observe yourself as already being, already having, already embodying, there is no room for the old frequency to survive. This is why some people seem to manifest effortlessly, while others feel stuck for years. It's not that the lucky ones have better techniques. It's that they have fewer moments where they betray their chosen identity. They don't oscillate between I am powerful and I hope this works. And they decide once, and then they live from that decision as if it were the only truth that ever existed. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but what if my current reality is screaming the opposite? That's the paradox. Your present reality is old data. It's the echo of past I am statements, both spoken and unspoken. The God state doesn't ignore reality. It simply refuses to give it the final word. It speaks from the new frequency until the echo changes. This is why mastering your inner dialogue is non-negotiable. Every time you catch yourself saying, I am tired, I am broke, I am unlucky, you're casting votes for the wrong timeline. And the quantum field is counting those votes in real time. Here's a way to flip this instantly. Next time your mind wants to label you with lack, pause and inject the opposite identity. Not as a forced affirmation, but as an act of remembering. If you catch yourself saying I am overwhelmed, replace it with I am centered. If you think I am not ready, shift it to I am prepared. These micro shifts are quantum shifts in disguise because they alter your frequency in the present moment. And the present moment is where all creation happens. What's beautiful about this is that the more you practice, the less you'll need to catch yourself, because the God state becomes your default. You start waking up already tuned, already aligned without having to pump yourself up or battle your doubts. And here is the best part. The people around you responding differently. Opportunities start appearing without you forcing them, and synchronicities become so common, they feel ordinary. But they're not ordinary. They're evidence that the field has locked on to your new broadcast. By now, you should be feeling the stirrings of that frequency. Maybe it's subtle. Maybe it's pulsing through you like electricity. Either way, don't let it fade, because in the final part of this journey, we're going to lock it in, not just for today, not just for a week, but as the foundation you stand on for the rest of your life. That's where the real quantum power begins. By now you can feel it not as an idea in your head, but as a vibration in your entire being. That's the shift. That's the God state breathing through you. And once you've touched it, you can't unknow it. You can pretend to forget. You can slip into old patterns. But somewhere deep inside the truth will always be echoing. I am that I am. This isn't about forcing the universe to listen to you. It's about remembering that the universe is speaking through you. When you declare I am from this frequency, it's not a request, it's not a wish, it's a fact. And the quantum field, which has no choice but to mirror coherence, begins rearranging matter, people, and events to reflect your declaration. This is the physics of faith, the science of spirit, the bridge between the seen and the unseen. But here is the real secret. The God state is not something you visit during meditation or affirmations. It's the home you live in, and to make it your permanent residence, you must stabilize it. That's the part most people skip, and why they oscillate between breakthroughs and breakdowns. You can't afford to just taste this frequency. You need to embody it until it becomes the only language your mind, heart, and body speak. That's why I created something for you. It's called Awaken Your Quantum Power, a guide designed to help you anchor this frequency in your daily life so deeply that nothing can shake it loose. Inside, you'll discover the 7 principles that keep you locked into the God state. You'll find the link to access it in the pinned comment below. When you click it, you're not just getting a book. You're making a decision. You're declaring to the quantum field, I live here now. I am no longer visiting my power. I am my power. So, as we close, take a deep breath, place your hand over your heart, and say it out loud. I am that I am. Let the vibration of those words settle into your bones, because from this moment forward, the universe doesn't have to wonder who you are, and neither do you. We'll meet again in the next video. Until then, stay rooted, stay radiant, and remember, your I am is the most powerful force in the universe. Use it like your life depends on it, because remember to practice these shifts every day so your inner frequency becomes steady. Small moments of attention compound into radical change, and being consistent will seal this as your living reality. Keep returning to your I am. Now,